Ladies and gentlemen, we managed to snag the one and only, the mighty Goblin Cello Master, Rushadicus. Bro, how you doing?
Pretty fluffy. Yeah.
Yeah? Feeling fluffy, feeling fantabulistic, feeling, do you feel amazing after?
Yes, fluffy, fantabulistic, and ferocious.
Ferocious, yeah. All valid adjectives.
Yeah, as long as they all start with F.
Yeah. Can you think of any other adjectives that start with F?
Fine, I'm doing fine, and, filigreed.
Filigreed.
Uh-huh.
What does that mean?
Filigree is like, I don't know, like ornamentation on a thing. It's kind of like Paisley or something.
Oh, okay.
Shit,
That's his last name.
That's my last name, dude.
Oh, Paisley?
Named after the pattern, dude. Named
Oh.
after the classic pattern.
Dang. I wonder, I guess I could be Frank Filigree, and then we could be on the pattern
That's a good
recognition team.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Good moniker.
Well, yeah. Well, dude, thanks for coming on by here. You are
Absolutely.
on the you're on the kind of midpoint of your tour here, making a stop in Sacramento. How was the show last night? How you feeling after it?
I am feeling quite victorious.
Yeah.
With a dull glow of pain.
That's a true victory right there. It's
Yeah.
got to be a dull glow of pain.
Yeah.
I didn't make it, dude. What went down?
What didn't go down is the better question. You know, I think you took quite a few slammings, quite a few rammins.
Yeah, some slammings and rammins. I did some falls. The main falls were on a chair, just one of those little folding chairs. But the way that it connected with the ground was like, you know, you go up and it feels like you're on a roller coaster and you're about to drop into the free fall. And then it's like, oh, and it's like, kind of knocks the wind out of you, you know?
God.
It's really fun. But yeah, I know I also climbed the pole, and I climbed the pole twice.
Yeah.
The pole in the room, and slithered down. And but generally it was cool because, you know, there was a mix of like young, freaky, weird art type of people, and like old people that were into like blues or something, and
Right.
but a lot of them stayed and they just like handled it somehow, and because
Yeah.
it was for me, well, it sounded really good up there on stage, and even if it didn't, my default is like kind of like ferocious metal vibes now, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
right.
Basically
The triplet chugs. Yeah, for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, you're a beast at the cello, dude. You have a style of playing that is I frankly have not seen before. I don't know.
Thanks.
Like, it's so unique, so crazy, so out there, but like, dude,
fast.
it's like, well, because, you know, I saw Reggie Watts recently.
Oh, shit.
At Oregon Country Fair. That was weird, and like everyone in the audience was naked, and it was in a sauna, and that was like the most bizarre shit. And then, but Reggie wasn't naked. But what reminds me about with you and with Reggie is like, you're both so like ridiculously talented, but then you're just like, but I'm just gonna use my powers to be an absolute fucking silly goose, and I respect that so much, dude. Like, well, it's the same thing with like you know, you'll be doing the chugs and the kazoo, dude, and then you got and then all of a sudden it's like, oh shit, dude, you're doing the fucking like Bach, like you're doing like a prelude and you're doing the counterpoint with the kazoo, and you're like, oh shit, dude, like.
Oh yeah, it's nice you remember that, because I did bust that last night a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like I don't know, because, you know, a lot of people I think could see a little snippet or a little clip of your act and just you're like, oh, this guy's just antics, but dude, you fucking rip though.
Oh, thank you.
Like it's
Are you like classically? I mean, you're classically trained, right? Or is
Somewhat.
It like, yeah.
I mean, not to the extent that other people that are classically trained are, because I was always mixing in other things, you know, like up until I was 12, from 3 to 12, it was all classical music, and I wasn't really allowed to improvise or mess around. But then I discovered the guitar and, you know, rock music and stuff, and then started to just make my own rules. And then I didn't want to play cello anymore because I was much more fond of doing my own thing and just making it up, you know. Mm-hmm. I think the first song I wrote, it was like, yeah, I'm a cat. I got jumper cables hanging off my back. Because I heard some guy at soccer practice say that, one of the dads, he was like, that guy's got jumper cables hanging off his back. So he was like, had a lot of energy or something, and I was like,
wow.
yeah. Anyway, so
dope.
yeah, it was just freedom, you know, to make up whatever. And then I got into like learning music theory, and I went back into the cello because I was like, oh shit, I already know how to play the cello. I might as well go somewhere with that. And then I went for a few more years in classical music. But then when I was 19, I was at this like fancy classical music academy thing in Colorado, summer camp, Aspen Music Festival. And it was super gnarly over there, and I just quit. I was like, I'm never going to do that again. It's just, I want to spend my time doing a new thing.
Oh, yeah. You've definitely forged something new there. When did the kazoo come into play and how?
Oh, yeah, that's a good question. 2007, I had a band called the Butt Wizards, and we were supposed to play at a festival, but like the other dudes couldn't make it. And it was a time of heavy drama and like girlfriend breaking up bands, all kinds of weird stuff going on.
Classic.
And, you know, I was 27, Saturn return. They say your life catches on fire and blows up and gets all crazy. Anyways, and I had just moved back to California, and I was playing at this festival. It was an hour and a half summertime festival, and I'd never played solo before. Like, I wasn't used to playing solo. Like, now it's like second nature, you know. But I was always like, I had a band and we had arrangements, and there was parts for cello solos, and that was a big part of the thing, you know. And to play a cello solo, you need accompaniment, you know, from the drums and the keyboard or whatever it was at the time. And since they weren't there, I was like, okay, I got to do this set solo. What can I do? And I thought, you know, Bob Dylan, you know, harmonica, guitar. And I was like, okay, the harmonica is to the guitar as the blank is to the cello. The kazoo! I know. And I got one of those harnesses that they have for the harmonica, and I put the kazoo in it, and I was like all ready, you know, and I kind of worked on some arrangements, and whenever there was a cello solo scheduled in the song, I would just do a kazoo solo, you know?
Yeah.
But then it like stopped working in the middle of the set, and I like threw it down. It was like it was the longest hour and a half of my life, and my dad was there, and my dad, came down on me pretty hard afterwards. He's like, you left the cello in the dust, man. That kazoo, you got to get rid of it. So I didn't play it for another 7 years. And then when we were just sitting around playing for his dad, who's a fan of jazz, and he was enjoying when I was starting to dabble again, you know, just play the kazoo. And he had the idea, my grandpa, of like rubber banding it to the headstock so that it could be permanently affixed.
Right.
And so it was such a good idea. And then, you know, since then my dad, I think, has come around on it.
So that gig, that the festival gig you were talking about, that was like a trial by fire kind of. Where
exactly.
Was it like the day of, like you thought everybody was going to show up, and then, or you knew in advance?
It was like a week beforehand.
Oh, okay, so you had some time to kind of figure it out.
I had time to go buy the kazoo and the thing and
right.
figure it out, kind of what I was doing, but.
That's crazy, dude. Yeah, the show must go on.
Stuff has just come so far from there in terms of my concept of performing. I was still sitting in a chair then playing with a microphone. You know what I mean? Like, it's so different now.
What about all the climbing and stuff? When did you start like integrating that into the shows and stuff?
I think that started about when I had a band called Tornado Rider, and I was I got wireless stuff for the first time, you know, so then I could just cruise around. Growing up, I was really into Angus Young.
Oh, yeah.
You know, from AC/DC. Just the fact that he was like pretty much the whole show was like being electrocuted. That's how he looks. You know what I mean? To have that much energy and commitment. Just, you know what I mean? And he could just run anywhere. And so I wanted to do that. And so then I started getting up on the bar and going around and crowd surfing and various things. But then there was this one festival they were playing in Florida, and it was packed, and it was like the headlining night set in this tent, and the energy was just huge, and like there was this girl I was trying to impress, and I like climbed up the
scaffolding.
Tent pole, onto the top, you know, up there like 25 feet or something, and hung upside down and took a solo. And then that was like, it was a moment where like I think a light bulb went off. So now I hang upside down all the time, and like, you know, it's just fun because it's not just about the visual aspect. It's also about the way that being in some, you know, extra, dramatic position makes the music a lot more exciting. Like for kazoo solos, like if you were a connoisseur, you know, if you're like a connoisseur of wine, you're like, well, the grapes that were grown in these conditions, you know what I mean? Or like the coffee beans that are from this place, and you have to do this to them. Like a cat has to eat them and poo them out. That's how serious people are about getting the particulars
the
of a
coffee
coffee.
beans,
So if you're a
yeah.
connoisseur about something, say you're a connoisseur of kazoo solos, you're going to realize that the kazoo solos, when somebody is 40 or 50 feet up in the top of a tree, or hanging upside down, or spinning on the back of something or whatever, those are the best kazoo solos.
Fuck yeah.
I would definitely agree. You have the best kazoo solos.
I think, dude. I mean, it's who's like second place.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't fucking know,
Dude. Yeah, no, not many moments in my life I'm like, damn, I should become a connoisseur of kazoo solos. Like, oh shit.
I was gonna say too, it's cool you bring up Tornado Rider because that's actually where I first heard of you. Because your brother Zerosh was my favorite skater, like growing up for a long time.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
dang.
And so it's a trip because remember
Talented
seeing
family, dude.
very talented family. You guys are very influential.
Yeah,
on me.
Zerosh is a very inspiring dude. For sure.
Wow.
Yeah, so I would remember there was the one song that I'm a falcon, vicious bird, bird, powerful bird. That was in his skate video, and then it was Rashad Eggleston. I looked it up, and it's like you climbing up scaffolding and shit, and I was oh, okay, all right, this guy's interesting. That rules though, dude.
Parkour.
Like, yeah. So and now you're here. I'm like, oh my god, this is crazy.
Whoa,
yeah,
it comes around. Yeah, you know how my brother Zubin is a skater too. He's really good, and that has to be credited with the influencing me to do a lot of stuff, you know, because they're always pushing it, you know what I mean, and always ready to take a slam for fun. Like Zerosh just has always loved slamming. He always loves even me that I don't skate or anything, but he'll always challenge me to jump over something or do something dangerous, or he likes seeing people push
you
it.
said back to like you were learning cello from 3 to. You said 3 to 12?
I started the violin at 3.
Violin,
yeah,
okay.
And
So
then
it
I
was,
switched to cello and it was like 8.
oh, okay.
9,
for sure.
9, I think.
So when you were a kid, were you guys doing sports or like any of that kind of stuff too? Because I mean, you guys are, it sounds like the whole family's jumping around.
Yeah, for
getting
sure.
athletic with it.
My dad was like coach vibes.
Oh,
and,
okay.
I played baseball and soccer. Probably main sports, and golf. I was actually,
dude.
You don't probably think of me as a golfer, but I was I was like entering golf tournaments and stuff
cool.
like that. It's just like, I don't know, sports are hard. I love sports because it's like so fun to like be doing stuff and running around.
Totally.
Like I was a shortstop, and you could dive for things. It's kind of like being on stage a little bit, But then when I got to be about 13 and I was like on the high school team and stuff, like everyone started getting in fights and it was way like jocking up, you know what I mean? And it was like, it became way serious and not as fun anymore. And I just wanted to like grow long hair and play music, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I was like,
Everybody hits fucking max puberty all of a sudden. And then it's just like, oh shit, we can accidentally beat the fuck out of each other now.
Yeah.
hell yeah.
That's the thing with like kids sports. It's just like, oh dude, put some fucking dirt on it, like you're fine. But then once you hit teenagerhood, it's like, dude, that's a dangerous game.
It's no longer just a game.
You got to put the helmets on and everything.
Something I wanted to ask you too, just to kind of keep, rapid fire. We're rapid fire here.
Dude.
You've mentioned at the last time I saw you that your favorite band is Crows.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Like
that was
the
something that
birds?
was said. The birds, yeah.
Like actual crows.
Yeah.
Whoa, that was a good answer, I guess. I mean, it's still true. The other day I heard these ravens and they were, man, just so full of life. Lively.
Dude.
You got a whole bird theory going, don't you? Or something like that.
Yeah, you could spin some of them into a theory. I try to stay away from like too specific of theories, you know what I mean? Because like, how does everything actually work, and why is it all here? Yeah, I think that it has many answers that are contradictory, and we just, in our limited minds, we don't understand how things that are opposites can both be true.
Right.
So, I think crows probably understand that, though.
Yeah.
That's why they just aren't trying to like mess with stuff, you know.
Dude, crows are hella smart. Like,
Can you call?
oh, dude. Hold on.
I was trying to get. I got nothing.
Yeah, dude, little crow.
Whoa,
Little
yes.
raven, dude. Fuck yeah, dude. Had to get a little hydration before that one, dude. Fuck yeah, man.
Oh, dude, you know what happens with crows? I don't know if I told you, but sometimes in the Northwest, when I get to the top of a fir tree, one crow will come and start cawing, and then another, and then there'll be like 30, 40, 50 crows circling me, cawing in the top of a tree. It was scary the first time it happened. It was exciting.
So did you climb a lot of trees just as a young man? Like, has that always been a thing, or is that something you got into like more on stage?
Climbing trees has been like one of my main hobbies since I was about probably 15.
Dude, there's tree climbing, there's skating. Those are two things that I've tried once, immediately ate shit, and then I was like, all right, I'm good.
That was the case with me in skating for sure.
Dude, really?
I slammed and hit my head like a couple times real quick, and then I was like, yeah, maybe it's not for me. I'll just practice, you know.
What's the worst you ever hurt yourself like during a show? Or like the worst slam?
The worst I hurt myself during a show?
Yeah, or if you have, you know.
It's probably in Olympia at the beginning of this tour, pulling a muscle like that, you know? Mm-hmm. I don't remember a time where I had an injury that set me back more than that. I don't even really, it's not really an injury, it's just, but yeah, it like makes it a little bit hard to move around.
Right.
Yeah.
Totally. I don't think, well, there was a time in Baltimore last year, this guy like hired me to play on the street, and I was balancing on a trash can, and it was like one of those big black metal ones with the swooped out rims, and my left foot was up on a parking sign, and my right foot was on the trash can, and then the trash can started tilting the wrong way or something, and then my foot could no longer be on the sign, and I came down and landed right on my groin on the rim of the trash can.
Oh, dude.
And it was a very ow moment.
Nasty.
Yeah, that's brutal, dude. You're definitely a champ. Yeah, the chairs. I got some videos of the chair slams yesterday.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Oh, nice. You have to send those to me.
Yeah, I got you, man. Hell yeah.
How many cellos do you own?
I think 5 at the moment. I have my main one. I got the carbon fiber one there.
Yeah.
I got the one that I was using last night, which is kind of a beater. And then I have like a miniature one and maybe one other one.
Right. I think the one I saw you with, it has all the like reflective like red and white, the squares on it or whatever. Or I think so, right?
Oh, it's just got like little checkers on it.
Yeah, the checkers. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that I think I saw. Yeah, dude, it's crazy, man. Because we were just talking about it before the show. Like, I opened for you at On the Y in Sacramento, just like the most random dive bar. I had no idea like who was on at the night. It was just like me and Bryant and like some of the homies, like you know, just playing some jazz tunes, some like fusion tunes, and then we just witnessed the most insane, because it's crazy, because I was like, oh dude, Eli, come to the show, man. And we got like a few people to come to the show, you know?
Yeah, just impulsively came out. Yeah, just
and
randomly.
then like, dude, yeah, I'm glad you guys didn't miss that one, because it's like, it's something where like if you tell someone that it happened, they're like, I don't fucking believe you, dude.
I remember
Like,
you did a kick the ceiling, kick the ceiling.
Did I kick the ceiling?
You kicked the ceiling, yeah. You kicked the beam,
the rafter, like up on the top of On the Y. I was like, what the fuck, dude?
Nice,
it's crazy.
Yeah.
Do your shows kind of like start to like blur together almost after doing like so many, or like
there's so many. There's a lot of shows, and they're all improv these days, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, there's things that are like if there's a chair to fall in, I will fall in it sometimes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or if that wasn't the first time that I've kicked a ceiling. You know what I mean?
Right.
But the music is all improvised, and it's not like I'm like, oh, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to kick the ceiling or whatever. I just, flow into it.
You don't have like a set list.
No.
You're just like, all right, I have 90 minutes to just...
Yeah, exactly. See what happens.
Yeah.
And it was, at first it was a little bit scary, to go up there without having a plan after, 20... It was probably like 18 years of performing or something with always having some kind of a plan. To have no plan takes a while to get used to. But the reward, the potential, the ceiling is much higher for reward and glee.
Right.
I imagine, dude. Do you have to what do you do to amp yourself up before? Do you have a little pre-show ritual or anything?
No, I haven't found those things to consistently work. There's sometimes where I've tried to hype myself up a lot before a show, and like, you know, like maybe like done some like jumping jacks or like done some sprints and get warmed up. And sometimes all that does to my subconscious seems to highlight the fact that I am nervous because I don't feel like I can just walk out there and do a great job. So I just try to walk out there and see what happens. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Sometimes I'll be like, just like on my phone, or even last year I was like breaking up with somebody the whole time, and it was like mega drama, the worst, crying, like yelling and all this stuff. And then it's like, oh, it's your time to go. I'm 5 minutes, like, okay, go up on stage, and then just get it all out somehow. So sometimes that works really good, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And some other times maybe hyping yourself up works really good, but like last night, I drank a little bit of a yerba mate. That helped.
Oh, yep. Shout out to yerba mate, dude.
Mm-hmm.
Yerba mate, if you're listening, dude.
Sponsor us. Yeah.
But this show also, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, it really seems to not really matter what happens, because I've had some of the most high energy shows with no yerba mate,
right,
and barely any coffee. You know, just going out there, life, and
dude.
The audience is really the batteries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You get a couple like cuties in the audience, you know, and your primal instincts are activated,
right.
Or just even a bunch of young people that are cool, or people that are enjoying. You know, it's like, if you do a certain thing and then they cheer, you know, if when I first hit the kazoo, the audience like goes crazy, I'm like, oh hell yeah, like this is gonna be a good show, you know?
That's so cool as like doing like a solo act like that, because you do have the immediate, because there are just like a lot of moments of like just like silence for a second, you know, if you're like switching from one thing, and so you can really hear the audience and like see the audience reacting to everything you do, which is super cool, because like I imagine that's probably different from playing with, you know, 3, 4, 5-piece bands, where you're like, you kind of know at the end of a song, you're like, yeah, people react to it, or they react to a solo. But when you're just like doing your own thing, like it's crazy how much you're connected to the audience, dude. Because I mean, we were all just like standing there like, what the fuck, you know? But dude, so how long have you been doing just the solo act thing, and do you still play with other groups regularly, or
no, not regularly? Maybe every once in a while I play with some other people, but right now I'm really focused on just taking this to another many levels. It has already like grown a lot of levels since I started doing it, but I just want to keep maxing it out more and seeing where it goes, you know, because the same thing with my cello technique. Every time I thought that I was at the limit, I would keep practicing, doing things, and then suddenly, bam, a whole new level gets unlocked, and then that becomes the ground. The ceiling of the one level becomes the ground for a whole other set of things, and then on and on. And so with performance, I think it's the same way. So yeah, right now I'm just really focused on that.
That's awesome, man. I'm sure it's just got to be a lot easier to schedule and all that, because I'm in a big band, you know. Band, the Gold Souls, dude. We got a big ass bus. It's 8 of us, you know. So it's like people are like, got to fly in from here to start here to go there, and it's like getting that many Airbnbs, that many things like all situated, you know, staying at friends' houses, all that. It's like that shit can be a nightmare. I mean, I'm sure you know, but like, you know, doing a solo thing, it's like you could just fly somewhere, get the cello on the you know, stow it away, and then bam, just pop into a new city. It's fucking, you know, seems like it would be
that does happen, and it is nice. Yeah, you just have to deal with some solitude,
right?
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, that's the kind of
hours in the car by yourself. Just,
are you doing mostly driving?
Yeah. Well, if I'm about to go to Alaska, and then I'll like fly up there, you know.
Fuck
or
yeah, dude.
When I go to the East Coast, I usually rent a car. Sometimes I drive all the way out to the East Coast. It depends. Dude, last year, me and my cousin drove all the way to Buffalo.
Oh wow! Yeah.
From
California.
From California. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
Yeah, he was my tour manager. He died of an overdose. So this is his shirt. Forrest. He was a legendary ripper of dirt boards and stuff. You may have seen him in my brother's videos or something. Yeah, and he became my tour manager. Last year we did like 60 shows together, and it was awesome. What was cool is he was like a ferocious supporter of the Jick expression. He's like, dude, you don't need to listen to anybody else. You don't need to get a band. You don't need to go back in time to playing more nice music. He's like, this is the shit. Keep it going, you know?
Man.
So what's the Jick all about, dude?
Jick Jik is just a word that has been around since maybe.
But show the camera right here. We got Jik.
Jik.
What's on what?
There's Jark.
And you got Jik and Jark, dude.
What are on your arms too? You got Rargniatwar.
Rargniatwar, that's right.
And then hold on, I got this.
You got it.
Bunjokiastunto.
Yeah,
Dude, hell yeah.
Very good.
What are those?
What's the etymology on that?
Dude, I mean, I used to have this song that said, "I'll give you $300 if you get Bunjokiastunto tattooed on your arm." It started at 50 and then it went up. It was almost like an auction to see if any of the audience would agree, you know.
Whoa,
and then
dude.
finally, I was like, I gotta walk the walk, man. I gotta get Bunjokiastunto tattooed on my own arm. So I did, and then like shortly after that, this chick, Sarah Savage, who was like my biggest fan, watched like all my live streams in the pandemic. She tattooed it on her own arm.
Whoa.
That's
and
real.
got a picture of me in tights on her arm also.
Oh, that's hard, bro.
Awesome,
Yeah.
dude.
Yeah. So I tried to give her some money and she's like, I don't want it.
Damn, dude, that's
real.
That's how you know you got some power in people's minds. Dude.
Yeah.
When they get a tattoo of you, and then they get a matching Bunjokiastunto tattoo, dude.
Yeah, I mean, it's a commitment. I mean, it's like, what, 15 letters or something?
That's wild, dude. That's in like a
do the-
20-point font too.
Do the goblin words like just like beam in like from beyond? Is it like messages that come to you from like elsewhere, or like is there like
Pretty much.
Yeah.
From beyond or within, or maybe those are the same thing, you know what I mean? From some void.
you just let it rip, bro?
Dude, yeah, it's been ripping for a long time. Ever since I was like, it started when I was like maybe 10 or something, and I would make up whole teams of dudes that to play with, you know, just to like entertain myself, and I would do football highlights and intercept myself and tackle myself and all this stuff. And I had all these teams with dudes, and then some of them were made up words, and then it just kept going from there. And then I found out about Jark and Jik, and then it just started flowing. And then I'd write whole songs and epic poems in mostly made up words, you know. I would say a made up. It's like channeled or something.
What does the word sneth mean to you? I feel like somebody told me that has significance to you.
That was just like a kind of a general term for the mythical land placeholder. You know, it could be called many things, but it was first the land of Snee, and then it was the land of Sneth once it became more burnt. You know, things heated up a little bit. Like the music I used to do used to be a lot more whimsical and kind of cartoonish and gentle. You know, and I was over there in Boston playing like folk music with people it was way more chill, and people were wearing sweaters and stuff. And then my parents got divorced, and then I had some gnarly relationships. And then I moved back to the West Coast, and I started playing in a lot of bars and rock bands and stuff. And then, you know, and just things got heated up. And then you know, so it changed from Snee to Sneth.
Whoa.
And then it became Sneth metal.
Sneth metal.
Yeah, dude.
Is that when the goblins took over?
I feel like the goblins first, they've been slowly taking over for a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I was about 10, I had a dream where there was this square attic door in my house that I was kind of like mystified by, you know, when you're a kid.
Yeah.
It's like the attic, it's kind of scary. And I had a dream, it was all black and white, that the attic door opened and out came tumbling like hundreds of those like little finger puppet monsters.
Yeah.
And they were all alive and they came bustling out of the attic, and it really imprinted my subconscious. And then after that, I think, you know, they've just been slowly taken over.
Yeah. Well, damn. Where do goblins come from? Like, how are they born? Is it like a mommy goblin and a daddy goblin, or is it like, do they come from the ground?
I think the kind of goblins that I am relating to, and the kind that I am of, are just eternal.
Yeah. Ever present.
Yeah. And if they want to not exist for a few long whiles, they can just not exist.
Right. Damn.
Yeah, just
Eternal
choose
goblin.
to just be seen or not. You know, you have to believe in them to see them. Yeah.
Yeah, just being eternal would be so, you know.
That's real. What kind of magic would you say you're most familiar and experienced with?
That's a good question. Like, well, do you want to list the types of magic?
any I don't know what kind of experiences with magic or mysticism, I should say.
It's not magic, dude. It's jick.
Yeah, it's Jick and Jark.
Yeah, dude. Apostrophe jick. Is it short for magic?
I mean, there's like sex magic where you like try to like send out intentions when you're like in the zone, which is pretty
Blood
cool.
sugar sex magic, dude.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh yeah. Black chili peppers. Yeah, and there's this one witchy circle of rocks that in this place I like to go hiking off to the side there, and whenever I go there, I like dance around it in a circle 7 times, and like do a lot of howling and stuff. Nice. And so I think chaos magic is the most familiar that I am, because I got this book on chaos magic right when man, my ex had just like kicked me out of her car and made me drive 8 hours back because some crazy shit. It was crazy what was going on. And I went to the only dude's house I knew in like Pennsylvania, somewhere over there, and he gave me this book, Chaos Magic, and it was awesome. It was like, a wizard must seek alternative forms of relationship and not be stuck in anything, you know? And I was like, oh, damn. Wow. But yeah, like the magic of full release, I feel like when you really get into the zone and get into a trance, time moves really differently. Mm-hmm. You know, an hour and a half show can feel like 10 minutes sometimes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's weird how it happens. And you can, there's one small part of your conscious mind which is sitting there looking at your body being like, wow, what's it doing now? It's like, there's my hand going really fast, there's this hand doing its own thing, there's my pelvis doing its own thing, and my mouth is making all these sounds, and it knows when to go to the, you know, you're just flowing. I feel like that is a semi-magical state, and whatever that one is the one that I know the most about.
Totally.
Yeah, dude.
The flow state, dude.
Yeah,
I think
definitely.
that is kind
Zen
of a type
flow
of magic,
state.
dude.
Yeah, dude. Yeah,
Totally.
I definitely got those vibes again, just because the trance, you're so like, just, I don't know, it's awesome, bro. Yeah, so I just wanted to ask you about that for sure.
Yeah, to go as deep as possible into that zone, because I think it, you know, then it creates a vortex that other people, the audience and whatever, they can go in. It's like a spaceship.
Yeah.
Dude, it's sad because I feel like there's a lot of people that don't get in the zone, like in their life, like whether it be like with music or like anything, like damn, like there's got to be a way to get in that flow state for everyone, like, you know what I mean, like I don't know, some people are like really dope at being like mechanics or whatever, but man, like the flow state, when you hit it just right, like you could be feeling like absolute dog shit, then you get on stage and you're just like fucking doing your thing and just like letting your instrument express, you know, things that you can't necessarily say with words, and it's just like, it's such a next level thing, and I'm like, I don't know, have you ever, because I'm like, when I was a kid, I, you know, got diagnosed with ADHD, all that kind of stuff, you know, and it's like, music to me is like one of those things where like you're just not even thinking after a point, you're just doing the act, like, and that's such a freeing thing. It's like you're taking the fucking load off the CPU of your brain, you know. Do you feel like that? Or do you feel like, I don't know, sometimes
absolutely,
it kind of quiets whatever like bullshit's going on in your head, you know?
Yeah, I mean, if you have problems in life, or even are sick or anything that, you know, then the show, that's 2 hours where you don't have problems.
Right.
You don't have anything to worry about. You're not sick.
Yeah.
You just you become superhuman, a monster, a god.
Yeah.
A wizard, you know.
Fuck yeah, dude.
And dang, yeah, that's the best feeling.
That is what it's all about, dude.
Hell yeah. What other what kind of stuff are you into outside of music too?
Climbing trees.
Yeah.
Got
nature.
Nature, yeah, definitely taking walks. I mean, I like playing tennis a little bit, and taking walks. But as somebody told me that they like called it pretty well, chicks, cello, and trees.
Hey,
because they all are you know what I mean? It goes
trees. You're right.
Cello and trees, like it's like, and the secret is to prioritize them in the right order. It's got to be. I think it's got to be cello, trees, and chicks, probably.
Where you got to keep the pyramid stacked right, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's been too many times where I've prioritized some random relationship to the detriment of the tree climbing
Right.
and the cello playing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And those are the things, especially the cello playing is more of like my purpose in the world, which
Right.
I share with other people. So to go for some selfish end, which isn't even really fulfilling me and it's actually destroying me, there's a lot of those things out there, things that are addicting, basically addictions in all forms, whether it's like, nicotine or relationships or drugs.
Yeah.
For sure. The things that take you away from yourself
Yeah.
and prevent you, that actually block you from, you get tricked into thinking that it's your pleasure and it's good, that you like it and it's for you, but it's actually against you, working against you.
Right.
To prevent you from sharing your gifts with the world.
Yeah,
Totally.
you definitely have to be careful because sometimes people are like looking for the light like in themselves and they try to get it from you because you radiate it so much, Yeah, because I've had that kind of happen with relationships before too, where it's like they weren't really having like a lot of like that passion and the direction like from within themselves, and so they kind of like cling to you, and then you become like entangled, it's like roots on a tree, like getting like, then you get kind of stuck together through, situationships they call it. Yeah.
Entanglements.
Yeah, entanglements. But yeah.
It's just good to like be wary of, I guess. It's a lot easier to say. I mean, right now I feel happy and light because I'm not in a situationship. I'm not tangled up right now. I mean, of course I've got great things out of relationships, and who's to say that it isn't really wonderful to like, other trials by fire where you learn stuff and whatever. But it just feels really good to like breathe easy and relax knowing that I'm not tangled up in some mega situation.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, so how often are you on the road these days? Because I imagine, it's tough for like people that are in relationships when it's like one person's out for like weeks at a time or whatever. So
yeah, it is. Oh, I tend historically, I mean, in the last few years, when I get into relationships, I stop touring.
Right.
I mean, I like put a big halt on it because I want to be around. I'm all entangled, and since it's just me booking myself usually.
Right.
Well, now I have a manager, but
Right.
if it's like I didn't have one already planned, then I can just be like, I'll just wait until I run out of money.
Right.
And then, but then that usually involves breaking up too, and then going on tour, like, and then the tour becomes this like heroic, like triumphant act of freedom where I like got myself back, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I'll go to another city and someone's cute enough and they get trapped, and then, so.
Yeah.
I need a better force field. I need to be pre-armored. You know what I mean? So that doesn't happen again because it got pretty extreme last time, and how like dark it can get, and the wizard and goblin leprechaun realm, they need me. And I feel like the people of Earth, they are craving the jick right now. At least the freaky ones, And I it's my great pleasure to keep bringing it, even if I'm bruised up, and even if it's like pretty grindy doing long drives by myself.
Right.
Whatever.
So
you're definitely lighting up the world right now, bro. I'll say that. Like, it's the perfect time, and like how wacky everything is in general too, like social media too, with like all of that. Like, it's, I don't know, just what you do is so perfect for like what the fuck, share it with your friends, and like,
it's a good time to be intersecting with that for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
When you were like, so when you started performing, when was that? Like, have you performed consistently throughout your adult life, or has there been times where you're like doing it less, or have you worked a lot of day jobs and stuff in between?
No,
you're just like,
it's kind of one of my like claims to fame is that I've never had a job outside music.
Ever?
Crazy.
Your whole life?
I mean, when I was 13, I worked 2 hours a week stacking papers. That like it was 2 hours in a whole week.
Right.
So I don't think that really counts,
Right.
I mean,
it's like chores. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy,
that's
man.
awesome, though.
So yeah, I mean, there was a time in in college when that's why I feel lucky, because my parents were definitely supportive in that. They let me they found a test for me to get out of high school so I wouldn't have to do homework, so I could practice more. And then during that time I like really took off because everyone else was in school and I just stayed home and practiced like 8 hours a day, you know. And it was really cool to do that. And then when I was in college and I was like thin on cash and I was like, I don't know what to do, and both of them were like, they're like, don't get a job, just figure it out how to do it, playing music or whatever you got to do, go play in the subway or whatever. And so I went to start playing in the subway, and then quickly, you know, I don't know, things just kind of came together, and I was able to do that. So yeah, I've always been performing my whole adult life.
So you like even like throughout college and stuff, you were
starting in maybe my junior year of college, I got called up by this dude Daryl Anger, who's like a legendary fiddle player.
Oh wow, okay.
And he was putting together some stuff, and we like he put a band together and put me in it, and we went on tour, all kinds of tours. And back then it was fancy, it was all paid for, and like flights and like nice hotels, and like performing arts centers, everything was very fancy. Like it's really quiet in there, you know?
Right.
And so I was just like 21 and doing that. And so that's how I thought it was always going to be.
Right.
But then, and then I had a folk band with people more my age, and that was doing really successful. Same kind of thing, fancy stuff. Didn't ever have to worry about anything, just show up, you know?
Right.
But then once I started my own bands, I started to realize, it's...
Yeah,
you gotta pay a price
work,
for doing your own thing, for sure.
What was I gonna say? Oh fuck, I forgot. You got something?
Yeah, just if you don't mind me asking too, just how old are you too? Just
44.
44, dude.
I'll be 45 in September.
Yeah. Well,
Nice.
Yeah. Happy early birthday, dang.
Yeah, thank you.
I was gonna ask where. Oh well, yeah. Where did you go to college?
Berkeley College in Boston.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you study music or?
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Well,
is the thing. That is the thing.
yeah, that's
Well,
studying
no, but I
Berkeley.
mean, they have film scoring.
Yeah, they have other stuff,
music production and engineering and music business.
Yeah.
But I just did performance because I just wanted to get a lot better at the cello while I was there. That was my main goal. I didn't really care about all the other stuff.
Right.
In retrospect, yeah, maybe it could have been cool, but whatever. I spent like hours and hours in the practice room in college for sure.
I can
That
see
would be
that.
my thing.
Totally.
Oh yeah.
That's fucking awesome, man. So you got out of high school kind of early then. And
Yeah.
So you had like what, a year or two before college, or?
Yeah, I didn't go to college till like a year and a half after my senior year would have ended. So I was like 19.
That's fucking awesome, dude. Because
I
I
got
think
out of school when I was 15. So yeah, I had like 3 years pretty much.
I think about how many people like could benefit from that. Like, I don't know, there's a lot of schools that are trying shit like that now, where it's like, you know, usually you get out of high school, then you go to do the 4 years of college, and then it's like by the time you're done, you're like super in debt, and it's already like, you know, you're already like in your mid 20s or whatever. But it seems like there's some schools, I don't know, probably some shit in Europe, but where it's like you figure out like your vocation or whatever early on, where it's like, damn, like if more people could focus on just like the one thing instead of having to do all the like general ed type of stuff, you know, like I feel like that's where a lot of people get lost. Like I went to community college for so long, and then eventually I had like 3 classes left, and I was just like, dude, what the fuck do I need to take stats 300 and fucking whatever? And it's just like can be such a big time hassle. It's like it would be awesome for more people to.
For sure, if they're sure about what they want to do, right. I think that.
So you were always sure.
I was like very sure, and my like high school, you know, counselor or whatever, like that was in charge of me selecting classes and stuff. She's like, "You're really burning bridges here. I really think you should keep your options open and keep going to school and take these classes." I was like, "No, I'm going to be a musician. That's all I'm going to do with my life.
Awesome.
I don't care if I burn all the other bridges," because I was certain. And I guess it was because I had, you know, support or whatever. There was like one. It was I've been playing guitar for a couple years, and me and my uncle played guitar a little bit and plays, and he had friends play the bass and drums. They're just kind of like hippies, and they were jamming in the garage. And I went and jammed with them one night, and my dad was there, and it was like 2 hours of just straight improvising.
Yeah,
no plan, no songs, and we experienced like musical telepathy. And I was like right there with them, even though I was like 13. And then afterwards, like my dad gave me a 3-hour speech in the driveway, and he's like, "Son, if you want to be a musician, all you have to do is set your mind to it. You can do it." And I was like, yeah. And he gave me Be Here Now, the book, by Ram Dass, like spiritual book.
Yeah,
I've
heard of it.
I was like 13, and suddenly I like had my life path. And then there's all this like weird stuff about Indian philosophy, and everything really changed that night. And then I just was like, yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to be a musician, and I don't have to do anything else. And I thought that I could avoid any form of homework or work forever, right. But it turns out it seems to come back around in one way or another. But I'm still trying to evade it as much as I can,
right.
Yeah,
dude. I mean, that's I can totally relate to that. But I'm like, I do DoorDash and like other stuff in between gigs just to kind of like fill in all the gaps. Whatever, selling shit on Facebook Marketplace, just little odd jobs here and there.
That sounds kind of fun, actually.
But it's not bad. It's not bad if you're in town a lot and if you're just kind of hanging out. But like, yeah, to go on the road, dude, because like I've done like I didn't really tour until like the last couple years, and it's like we'll go out for like 2 weeks, maybe like 3 weeks tops, and it's like, dude, by the end of it, I'm like, this has been a blast, but also like, holy shit, like I'm so fucking broke now. I'm like, goddamn. Yeah. It's like it's one of those things where I think that's what's just stopping a lot of people from really pursuing the full-time musician thing. But,
the working out the money and stuff. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, fortunately for me, I like made enough connections and a name for myself in the world of folk music, where some of those or like some of the buzz, right. And then with I've like done some stuff after so much touring for so many years. Right. There's like enough out there to go do pretty well when I go on a solo run, and I don't have to split it with anybody really. And
that's fucking sweet.
Oh yeah.
I
was gonna say, we're creeping on an hour. You want to kind of start to wrap it up?
Whoa, no way! It has not been an hour.
Yeah, 49 minutes here.
Dude, it's flying by. Yeah, thanks again for coming down, man. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you, gentlemen.
Go ahead. I was gonna say, what are some of your goals for the near future here?
My goals for the near future, I think the most basic one is to just get better at enjoying myself unashamedly when I'm in my head, when I have a show and somebody in the audience and my projection of what I think they're thinking, it starts to mess with me and like erodes my confidence. Like, dude, I'm 44. I've been doing this forever. Like, that shit shouldn't erode my confidence. And so I need to figure out a way to, I mean, I think I think the music still works and the show still works, even if I'm not having that much fun on the inside. And because sometimes I feel really guilty, and I want to just like evaporate that, melt all that away. Yeah. And I don't know if sometimes it's wearing sunglasses, honestly. You go out and you're just like this, dude, and nobody can see into your soul. And so like one of the hardest things is when you just like you look into somebody's eyes and you think that maybe they're not feeling it, and you, even if they are feeling it, you're just making eye contact with a stranger, and maybe they're one of these people that doesn't express outwardly their joy. And it's happened before where like somebody has like just gotten me so in my head, and I've kept looking at them to try to make it better, and it made it worse and worse and worse. And then after the show they're like, that was the best show I've ever seen. I'm like, God dang it, why didn't you just hold up a sign that said that, dude, at the beginning? I
think about that so much because I run into that, especially it's crazy because I was just in Ashland, Oregon, dude, and I was playing at this bar called Oberon's.
Yeah, I just played there.
And that's what I was going to say is when we were there, we have an 8-piece band, right? So it's like the tiny little stage, and then there's a little like corner that's also could be kind of used as a stage. Yeah. And so it's like the rest of the band was on this side, and then me and the bass player were both like crammed into this other little corner. And then we looked up and we're like, oh, but what about this balcony or whatever? And I was like, oh shit, there's a piano up there. How the fuck did this piano get up there? And then the bartender was like, he's like, oh yeah, well, we had a friend come by recently and tell us that the piano's actually pretty in tune still. And I was like, who's climbing up there? And I was like, oh, just our goblin homie. And I was like, no fucking way, dude. I was like, what? I was like, once you said goblin, I was like, wait, I know a fucking goblin, dude. What the hell?
Yeah.
He's like, the cello goblin. I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like,
yeah, I climbed up the bricks there. It was the first show on my tour, actually.
Oh, really? Dude, yeah, you were there like 3 days before we were. Yeah, like a few days. Wow. That's crazy. And then you said you were at Rhythms Coffee in Olympia, too. And yeah, we were there in probably like March or something. But yeah,
Sweet.
Dude, that's a fun little spot. That's crazy, dude. Just like the little like calling cards, dude. Just like on the trail, dude. That's crazy.
Yeah, totally. I think I was kind of in my head for part of that show too. But yeah, goals like the ultimate goal is like mental control, like being able to operate my own mind the way that I want to without all the without being too swayed by outer things, like what other people are saying or worrying about what other people are thinking, to just make your own path and go where you intend to go. Like being your own captain, for sure. That's the number one goal. But then the other goals slightly behind that are probably to, of course, always get better at the cello, work out more bounces, evolve the craft to a new level. But working on acrobatics. Yeah. I want to get a pole and a lira because I love climbing on stuff, playing, and there's so many more things I could figure out. If I could have a traveling stripper pole rig, I could go up there and like hang upside down. Yeah, dude. Like the other night I was in Portland and I'm like, I have a thing. It's like, don't go to strip clubs anymore. It's a waste of money or whatever. And the only vegan place that was open late night was the Casa Diablo Vegan Strip Club in Portland. Dude, it's so funny. And so I was like, oh, damn it, I got to go over there. It was like, 1:30 or something. And then this stripper came up and she recognized me. She was like, hey, you just had a show tonight. She was like, I was going to be there, but I had to work, Wow. And then so like, whatever, I don't know, like $200 later I was leaving, but it was inspiring because she was way cool and into LARPing and everything. Yeah. And she hung upside down by one leg off the pole and she's like, yeah, you could learn to do that. And then I was thinking, dang, yeah, I could play if I had a pole, climb up there, hang by one leg, and play the cello. Like, how sick would that be? You know what I mean? That's fucking awesome. And a lira was one of those hanging hoops. I want to get one of those because there's a lot of ways you can hang and get tangled up in those and fly around.
Yeah. Damn, that's crazy, dude. You guys should have just done a show trade. Like, it's like, all right, one lap dance for one like private goblin cello.
Right? I know, right? For sure, really.
That's so funny about Portland because it's like everywhere is required by law to have food. Like every bar.
Oh yeah.
Like you can't have just a bar that just has booze and alcohol. Like there has to be food. So that's why there's like such a crazy food culture there. And like you said,
that leads to the one place with the vegan strip club, which is awesome. Dude. Yeah.
Hell yeah. Do you want to maybe try to see if you can fit the cello playing in here somehow? Yeah. See what we can do. Get you still on the camera here.
All right. If we got enough.
We got two mics here, so you got ample coverage.
Let's see. Am I still on the camera?
A little bit.
Yeah, you're good.
If I go over here, maybe I'll try to sit in the comfortable seat.
Hey.
And then
if you can.
I'll turn on this little amp.
Here, we can move the chair too.
Just give you some triplets.
I like hand by nasty. I like the no taking their man.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, dude.
Hell yes,
Wow.
dude. Thank
Incredible.
you so much, dude.
A true ZUDECAST first.
Yeah.
That is absolutely insane. Sick pants, too, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Dude.
Yeah, heck yeah, guys. It's been really fun.
Dude, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for coming on. Yeah, do you have any last words, Eli?
Go follow Rushadicus. Support him in everything he does, man.
Yeah.
He's a legend in the game here, and we're very honored to have you come on by.
Thank you very much. Yeah, Rushadicus. Rushadicus. No, I say Rushadicus. Some people are like Rushadicus.
Yeah, people have a hard time with the
pronunciation. Cool. I should probably put a K in it, you know?
Yeah, that could be like an EP name, is Rushadicus.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like Spartacus, dude.
Yeah.
Rushadicus.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, all right. Thank you, anybody who tuned on in. We appreciate it, and we'll see you guys soon. Thank you for tuning in to ZUDECAST. Hooah!
Peace.